So yeah, thank you so much. At this point, without wasting much time, I will be bringing Franklin on board. He's going to tell us a little bit about himself, and then we'll go straight into the workshop. So I'll be here, Franklin. I'll be taking all of the nuggets that I can as well. And it's really, really an amazing afternoon or morning here. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on board the Executive Director of Black Buildup, Franklin Bouguep.
Thank you, everyone. Should I share my screen now or because I'm just
So
presenting?
I just wanted to
Okay,
give
I'm
them
going to
a
introduce
minute or
myself and
two,
then.
yes,
Okay,
so that they can all have the link and access it.
okay. So my name is Frank. Thank you so much, Susan. You're very, very, very kind. I don't consider myself to be a giant. I consider myself to be a humble servant, and I'm very passionate about the community. And I think in the western part of Canada, at least, I've had the pleasure to interact with a lot of members of the community through their organization and their businesses. So I come with close to 30 years professional and entrepreneurship experience. I've worked uh, in nearly all continents except Asia in position of increasing responsibility. Right now, I run a company that is based out of Vancouver, and I first want to acknowledge that I'm speaking from Vancouver, which is the unceded ancestral and traditional territories of the Squamish, the Musqueam, and the Tsleil-Waututh nations, and I feel incredible privilege to be able to do so. So the company I have actually is my wife and I. We run a company that is located in a number of countries. We are based out of Vancouver. We're based out of the United States. We have a number of subsidiaries in Africa, Angola, Mozambique, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. We have a small presence in Germany also because one of our big funders is the German Development Agency, so based out of Frankfurt. The reason I spoke about the for-profit one is because the topic of today will be around, how do we move from that idea to impact and implementation? So hopefully the years of experience that I've accumulated across different markets, I'll be able to share with you. But I'm most proud of being, a member of Black Buildup because Black Buildup was created to build organizations for profit or non-profit. That's what we do, right? How do we help you move from, a small business to a big one? How do we help you with succession planning? How do we help you with storytelling? How do we help you with impact? How do we help you with transitioning your business from, it might be a non-profit to a social enterprise and all whatnot? That is what we do, right? And I like to advocate. So I like to speak about and for the Black people. So I think that's a little bit about myself that I wanted to share, you know. So, and will have an exciting time together, you know. I'll try to make sure that it's not very boring. I might be a boring person, but I'll make sure that this is not very boring. I'll make sure that, we can go through this without you not even noticing the time. So, Susan, I don't know if you want to step in. Is there anything else, or should I just hit the ball running?
Please go ahead. One thing I want to assure every participant in this room is that we're going to try as much as possible to be time conscious. So at the end of the workshop, we're going to be sharing with you resources about phase, what we do, and at the same time, what you can get from Black Build Up in terms of resources. So yeah, thank you so much for letting us into your business world, Franklin. And we're so excited. Thank you for what you do for the Black community. And at this point, just keep the ball rolling. I'm just going to be in the background, like I said, because I also need to pick most of these nuggets that you're about to share with us this morning. So please keep it rolling. I'm here.
So is my screen, can everybody see the main screen? Am I sharing?
Yes, I think I can.
Yes. So everybody else, can you just quickly on the chat mention if you're seeing uh, the main screen that says ideation to implementation, you have a map to business. I just want to make sure everybody's seeing. I think
Uh,
I'm
it's not visible. The only thing I can see on the screen is face workshop saved to my Mac. I don't know why. It's
very, so about 10 minutes.
yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, now it is visible.
Finally, we can see you.
okay, awesome. So, as you can see, I made sure that I got a picture of myself where I'm much more younger, maybe much more good looking. So please don't be looking at the video. Look at that picture. That's the image I want you to keep, right? Not the old man that you're seeing on the video. Yeah. So let me go through the agenda. Today, we've done the opening remarks and everything, right? And by the fantastic Susan, one of the things that I want you to leave here with is the assurance that, I will not be one of those that I have a dream and I die of a dream. Whenever I pass in front of a cemetery, sometimes I wonder how many dreams were buried in that cemetery. Because historically speaking, and it's been proven, most people will have an idea, will even want to start the idea, and then will give up, right? So we want to make sure that through this short workshop, is not very long, at least you get some nuggets and you're encouraged to move beyond that ideation process all the way to one where you can see yourself actually implementing it, right? So this component will take about an hour or so, an hour and 10 minutes, where we'll go through validating your business idea, mapping the business models, and exploring, how you can fund it. And my approach, to you will be, I will take you on a journey. So I will use an analogy of us going through a journey and with an example so that, we can all work together, and see how we will make it. Yeah. So thank you again. I feel incredibly honored to be able to stand here and to be able to share this. This is not a one-way street. I don't claim to be Warren Buffett. So I am sure among the audience that people who might also have experience, lived experience, and that they might share through the questions that will be asked, or through even if they want to put something in the chat that they believe would be a plus. And sometimes people might have access to some resources that we might not necessarily be discussing here, or they might have gone through something specific that they believe might be of value. I encourage you to put it on the chat. Susan will be moderating the chat, so she'll be able to, if it's needed, to pause me and make sure that she can share that. Right. So we are a team. So I just watched the video that Susan made the first time it came out, and it was like, before you keep scrolling, and I'm like, oh my God, I nearly scrolled, and this is about even something that I would deliver. It was, do you have a business idea stuck in your head? It's good, but you're not sure where to start, right? So one of the things that is important for you to know is that you're not alone, and that you don't need a perfect business plan to start. So all of us, let's buckle up. Let's turn this beautiful idea that you have into a purpose-driven business as we move forward. So, roadmap to success. For me, the first step is that idea road ready, right? That's the first thing, because the reality is that we can have an idea that is not ready. There are some ideas that existed 20 years, it didn't pick up. And it's only today that it's picking up. Fun fact, I was watching one day a hologram, in a concert. So they bought a hologram of Tupac Shakur, and please, I was young at the time, so don't hold me on to that. So Tupac was singing along, Rick Ross and some other musicians. And one thing that struck me, it was very realistic, but I wondered, this technology, since when was it created? And I found out it was created in the 1910s. That's a hologram. But it's only about 60 or 70 years later that, that idea that somebody had before and somebody tried really helped, right? So sometimes you have an idea, but it might not be road ready, so we'll go through that, right? We'll go through how we can build, from this idea, a simple business engine. I want to say something. When we think about a business, sometimes don't overcomplicate it. Because naturally, the evolution of a business brings in complexities. So if before you even start, you are putting yourself into all the complexities, it might even discourage you, right? So we'll build into that simple business engine. We'll look at what will fuel it, right? And, how do we now, in a consistent, intentional manner, make it work? And that for me is your 30-day plan and accountability. Yeah. So this is not just a theory, right? So we're all of us here, 20 plus, we are working in this together. So I want us to look at this session as a team, brainstorming on how we take an idea and we implement it. The reality for me is that each stop that we'll do is critical to build the next momentum. So from the first stop all the way to the final stop, right? And just like in a trip, sometimes you don't need to see the whole route when you start driving. You need to have an idea where you're going, obviously. But, you understand that I might need to take some detour. I might need to pivot. I might need to take a break, a stop. I might need to stop to take fuel, and etc. So it's very important that you understand that. So is your idea road ready? Right? Another reality is that a lot of businesses will fail. That's the truth. And they will fail because of a series of issues. One is that, people just don't test your idea. Somebody sits and something's like, oh, I have an idea. And the person just says, this is the best idea. And the person just starts. Perhaps the sister said, somebody say, oh, I want to open a restaurant. And then somebody says, oh yeah, that's a great idea. And immediately the person opens a shop and then the person is shocked that actually the restaurant is not working. So you need to make sure that, that idea is a valid idea. What Alex says, it has legs before you actually start running or driving, right? And most of the business will fail because you don't have a good understanding of the market. Most of them will fail. It's not the passion. It's your idea. You're excited about it. You're like, yeah, I know. This will work. I know it will, but, you didn't do any research. You didn't, some basic things that you have to do, you don't. You let passion drive over reason. You need to be a passionate person to do entrepreneurship. That passion is critical. It is very important, but it needs to be coupled by some basic things. So let's say here we decide that we tested, one of us here found out that shea butter from Ghana or from Cameroon or from Nigeria, had a wonderful effect on our skin. So we all decided, okay, we will create natural shea because, we know that people love it. We see on TV, everybody's speaking about shea butter, about how it's wonderful with the skin and all whatnot. But before we jump, we decided that, okay, let's ask ourselves some simple questions. Saying that shea butter helps all types of skin is vague and doesn't take us anywhere. And that's the first mistake. You need to be able to know who is your targeted audience for that. And you need to drill down. So for example, we said, okay, this thing is really, really very nice on women. But we asked ourselves, okay, what type of races, for example, does this react better to? Because the reality is that there are some products that are meant for a specific type of skin. Skin of Black people, skin of Caucasians, skin of Indians, and the rest. Scientifically proven. So we asked ourselves, and we found out that, when it comes to Black or some Indians, this, shea butter is really wonderful. And also these are populations that are open to try, this type of products that might not be refined to the level of L'Oreal. So we say, okay, who? We say we decided it's women of color that are seeking natural care, skincare in Canada. We do our research, and the research shows us that a lot of Black women or a lot of Indian women, they really struggle to find something that matches, their skin, okay? They really struggle to find something they're used to. So some of them are first-generation immigrant, second-generation immigrant. They're in Canada. They want to use things that when they were baby, they were rubbing on them. So for a lot of people, shea butter is just a natural, acceptance because they know the product. They know they used it to clear eczema when they were kids, to clear a bunch of other things, right? So we've decided our target is the men of color. So we are not trying to solve the whole world's problem. We have a clearly defined market target. So what exactly are we solving in that target market, right? So we know again that shea butter is awesome for dry skin, for eczema, for hyperpigmentation, and etc. And we've also been hearing, and we've seen studies that are showing us that, a lot of synthetic creams have secondary effects. That 20 years later, they found out that all these synthetic creams came with secondary effects, some form of cancer and everything. So from that what, we know what we'll solve, and we know already even how we'll solve it and what we're going to tell people. Hey, look, move from a natural, organic, product instead of synthetic product that has been proven that, it will impact you adversely in 10 or 15 years. Yeah. So we know now the what, okay? So once we know the what, we start thinking, okay, so we know our market, we know the benefits that we're providing, we know that unique selling point, that unique value, that selling value that we're providing to our market, we need to think, so how do we make sure that we're reaching them and getting revenue from them? Because the Benjamin, right? All of us here, we need the Benjamin. We need the money. Hey, it's very important. So we decide, okay, you know what? We'll do it through some pop-up sales. We'll go through local markets. We'll have our stand, right? We'll have our product. We'll go through some online platform. We'll go through, and that's how we'll sell the product. And that's how we get paid from the product, okay? But we're also thinking, are we the only ones? Because the reality is that a lot of times, you're just reinventing the wheel. A lot of times, the idea you think you might be the only person, somebody else might have it, right? So we need to know the other people. Who are the other people who are doing this? Why? Because we can differentiate in terms of our execution. We can differentiate in terms of our market. We can differentiate because we come with a unique set of abilities, attributes, and even with a community understanding that the other person might not. So we might have somebody that, let's say the body shop. The body shop was created, I don't know who created the shop, but let's assume for the purpose of this exercise that the body shop was created, for example, by a Caucasian man. We can say, well, we are targeting the Black community. We have a great understanding of the Black community. We know the tightness of their relationship with what they put on their body. We know exactly how they want to receive it. We know the price point. So all this gives us a specific, unique advantage as compared to even a big player like the body shop, right? But understanding this helps us because when we look who is doing it, if we find out that, well, wait a minute, everybody else in this market we're interested in is doing the same thing we want to do, sometimes we might decide that, you know what, perhaps it might not be the right thing for us to put all our money and resources. Or we might decide we need to pivot, right? I mean, we need to take another direction onto this and market fit. So we've seen this, and when you do this, you come with a reasonable assurance that, hey, natural shea butter, it's a good idea, right? Well, it's a good idea. So we're speaking about natural shea butter. For you, it might be anything. You might want to open a catering service. You might want to open an AI, company. You might want to open, an auto rental company. Whatever be the idea, the principles of market fit is the same. You need to test it, right? And there's a simple way that you can test it. Of course, the bigger the company, the more complex the way we approach the market. So to give you an example, I do have a business, and my business runs in multiple countries, and I do extensive research, and I actually even get consultancy services because I understand the market dynamics on each country is very different. So I try to find out what are those things that I can do as a core, and what are those things that I can do that are unique to the market. So for example, our headquarters in Canada would provide some of the IP, right? The IP and some of the core support services. But every market will run practically independently in terms of the deployment of the services. So, and this principle, though I'm looking at different countries, is valid if you are spreading your product across Canada, because the way the Francophones receive their products in Quebec is very different from the way, we receive it, let's say, in Vancouver, which, by the way, has a significant Asian population, which is different from the way if you move to Yukon, they want to receive it, right? So you need to make sure that your idea is, market ready, what I call here road ready. Because as I said again, we are a team, and we are going on a journey, right? We're all together in the same bus. I want to make sure that we reach the destination. So after you've asked all these questions and you've ticked the box and you have a reasonable assumption that, yeah, this looks good, we've ticked this box, yeah, we have something here, Now the next thing that you need to do is you need to actually answer yourself the question on the direction that you are taking. So I've gotten all this information, right? Do I really know what the end game is, right? That also is very, very critical. And again, all this is to make sure that from that great idea that you have, you've started a transition into moving that to something that you actually act upon it. Because I say again, only 20% of businesses will survive between 2 to 5 years. And the reason to that is that people don't do that. People wake up, they have a great idea, but because they didn't test the market, because they don't have a clear direction of how will that idea materialize, they end up jumping and spending their money and selling their houses and then exiting. It might have been a great idea, but perhaps the 500 people had the same great idea. It might be a great idea. It might be too advanced for its time. It might be a great idea. So I'm trying to make sure that, we start to understand, as we decided that we're taking this trip to the area, to a certain destination, what it will take us to reach there. Okay. So we've looked at all that. Now, for me, what is the end game, right? We know we spoke about, we're targeting the black population, right? But we need to drill down even more, right? So who is natural shea butter for? Who is it for? Is it for 15 to 20 years old? Is it for seniors? Within the Black community, it's not homogeneous. It's actually very heterogeneous. Will the Caribbean people have the same absorption rate for this product like the Sub-Saharan or the Maghrebs, that's the North Africans? So we drill down, right? And are we really solving something that the market needs? Because there's no need for you to come and saturate the market if there are already solutions. It might be a great idea, but somebody's already doing it and doing it much more better than you. So what is it that we are solving? Did that idea come to me because, hey, every time I went to do my hair, every single woman sitting in there or every single gentleman sitting in there, we're always speaking about the fact that, man, why is it that we cannot find, a product that can help us with our dry skin and everything and etc.? Why is it that, when we're back home, our mother used to put this thing on us and it solved all kinds of problems. I cannot find it for my children. Yeah, sometimes I use Vaseline, but it's not the same thing. What is the problem that you are solving? It shouldn't just be that, oh yeah, I think that I need to do this, it's a great idea. You need to solve a problem. Why? Because if there is a problem and you are bringing the solution, people will buy your solution, right? So you absolutely need to know the problem that you are solving. And if there's a problem and you are really solving that problem, then people will be willing to pay for it. Because there are some problems that might exist, but people are not willing to pay for it. That's a reality. You might come and try to sell me something. I'm like, yeah, it's good, but man, I'm not going to pay for it. If it's free, I might consider it. We know that. A lot of things that we see, we don't want to pay for it. We say it's nice. We say, yeah, it's good, it's nice, but I'm not interested, right? So will there be a sufficient mass of people that will be willing to pay for that solution? And you always need, like when you're driving, right? So all of us are here, we're driving, we're going to Paris. And we know that few people are allowed to enter into Paris. I don't even know why I chose Paris, Few people are allowed, no, let me choose Japan. I'm traveling to Japan soon. So we're driving to Japan and few people are allowed to get into Japan, right? So at the start, we are in our bus, but we realize that, hey, when we look at the mirror, wait, hold on. There are about 200 other buses trying to go to Japan. And Japan is saying that I'm going to give only 5 visas. So the market is able to absorb only as many people for that specific product at that specific given time, right? So you have to know who are the other competitors, what other people are trying to do that same thing, right? It's very important that you know. And one thing I want to also share here is that, when I say who is your product for? If you are able to name 10 people, this I have my share butter, and I say, I'm like, natural share, I'm like, man, so who can get this? Yeah, I know it's Black people and everything, but if I'm able to say, oh, you know what, Susan will get this thing, Francine will get this thing, Jerome will love this thing. If your idea, you are able to put the name of 10, 15 people yourself on it. No, this is something that I know, my Auntie Sylvia would take. This is something that I know, if you can put 10 to 15, that's a great idea. I'm not saying 50. If you yourself, just around, that there are 10 to 15 people. That's a great idea. They can name them. You didn't go to them. You didn't go and say, hey, do you think you love this product? No, because you can go to them. And of course, some people, family members, some of them will say, yeah, it's good. Some of them might be tired by the fact that, hey, Franklin, this guy has been idle for too long. He's a knucklehead, and we really need to make sure that, he does something. So when I come with the idea, they're like, yeah, it's a great idea, son. Go do it. Just because they're like, oh, Lord, thank you. Let him be busy with something. That's why family sometimes might not necessarily be. It's your first port of call, man. Actually, family is a good port of call if you want to go and borrow money to start a business. Because then they will force you to be able to, they will look at it seriously. But if you are able, without contacting somebody, to name 5, 10 people that, not even 5, 10 people or more that can use it, then you have something, right? Because if you cannot name them, then you cannot sell to them, right? Then you're not able to sell to them. So for me, I want you to name the people, and then you can say, then you can move from naming the people, you can now start move one step up. You can say, you know what? I know Beauty for Ashes, which is a store here, will take this product. Then from there, I think that no. All the hairdressers who want to have my product in their stores. So you're able to name your market and not leave it generic. And by the way, it helps you structure your thinking process, right? Which is a very good thing. So this for me is very, very important. Okay. Now, I want just in the chat, and this is not something that you go somewhere, in the chat, I want you to type who and what on any product that you have in your mind. Okay. Now, I know some people might have a great idea. They are scared to share the great idea because they're like, I know my African or my Black brothers, they might steal, or sister, they might steal my idea and go somewhere. You can change the idea that you have, right? And I gave an example there for our product that we all here were creating. By the way, if somebody sees that this idea that we just put in there, you like it and you want to run with it, please do the market and run with it. I'm giving the IP for free because I just created this, right? So, example from Natural Share, I've written it there, right? Women of color with sensitive skin looking for natural glow without chemicals, okay? And I know Susan will love this. I know Buddy will love this. I know Yemi will love this. I know even Tasnim will love this, So I know already a bunch of people that I'm seeing. I'm just reading the names I'm seeing on the chat, by the way, So please, don't be surprised I'm calling your name. I'm just reading the names on the chat. So just write on the chat about an idea, the who and the what. Who is it that your product is for, and what is a clear problem you're solving? Now, I know you might not necessarily call the names of individual person. So I want you to take it one step further. Just tell me a targeted market, but let it make it specific. Demographic, race, and even location, right? So I'm giving you some hints. Give me, and by the way, please, I have 3 screens. So if you see me looking left and right, it's because I'm trying to look at the different screen. On one screen, I'm seeing the attendees. The other one is my presentation and etc. Okay. So for 5 minutes, let's see that, and then let's look into, the chart, who people are. Training of newcomers.
So, I thought I was going to be the first person to drop my business idea, but then this person actually was so fast. Dara. Dara said, I want to open my restaurant downtown, but I don't have sponsors. High teen food. Oh, okay. And it was Oracle. Oracle was the first.
Yes.
Training of newcomers looking to penetrate the tech market. Wow.
Okay. So let me start with Oracle. Oracle, when you're talking about newcomer, which newcomers are you talking about? Because newcomers, there's a wide range of newcomers from all races and demographics and the rest, right? Because when you say newcomer, it's a huge market, okay? If you say, I'm looking for that huge market, it means that when you want to implement, when you drill down to the type of services, you might just provide a generic one, and there are already lots of organizations. You remember I said, who else is in your lane? There are a lot of organizations that handle newcomers. So you need to have something that is unique to you. So if you say, for example, I want to handle newcomers from, I don't know, from India, for example, then you can drill to what are the things that the newcomers, the challenges that the newcomers from India are facing when they come here. Because don't forget, you need to be solving a product. It's not just you feel like I want to and everything and the sector. Then more than likely other people are doing what you want to do, right? You need to be solving a product. So once you've identified that, now you need to understand, will they pay for it? There's always a payment that needs to happen. It doesn't matter if you're going to the government to get the money or the people themselves. If there's no money or no money involved, your idea will die. You won't be able to scale it. You won't be able to expand it. One way or the other, money needs to be involved. Either it's your own money, either you sell your house or you use your salary to do it, but money will be involved, right? So you need to drill it down a bit more, right? Who is it for exactly? Newcomers, but can I drill it a bit down? Remember we said we drilled down the skin, we went to women of color, and I said you could even drill down in terms of age and in terms of location. So that's one aspect. You want to open a restaurant downtown, what is the audience? So who are you opening the restaurant for? I didn't see that, right? I understand you don't have sponsors, Jarlene, but before we get to the sponsor, and we'll see here how to fuel the car, right? We'll see that towards the end because the car needs fuel. You need the money. But right now for us is, I want to open, but it's for who? Am I opening an ethnic restaurant where I'm targeting, let's say, only Caribbeans? Am I targeting Afro-Caribbeans? Am I targeting Caucasian? Am I targeting people that like fusion African cuisine? And those people, what are they really looking at? What is it that they want in a restaurant when they're going? What kind of authenticity are they looking at? Because I will tell you, I went to a restaurant, a Kenyan restaurant here in Vancouver. I ate a very nice jollof rice and everything. I really enjoyed the rice, the meat, the good meat and everything. So I said, please, can I say thank you to the chef because this was really nice. And an Indian came out. The chef was an Indian. And I was so flabbergasted. So, but he understood that market. He understood the African or, ethnic market. And he did everything and etc. that when I came, if I didn't ask for him, I genuinely thought this was a Kenyan that opened a restaurant and he's giving me the experience that I've gotten when I was in Nairobi or in East Africa. So you need to drill down on that. I know who are those that are also doing this kind of restaurant, and you say downtown, so specifically downtown, right? So that is very good.
So I'm just going to read other businesses out, then you can go ahead and give.
Yes.
Yeah. So somebody said, I see a strong need for reliable clearing agents in Canada, especially with the growing demand in logistics and trade. My goal is to eventually run my own custom brokerage service and support clients with end-to-end cargo solutions. I love that. Another person said, Black women with dry, irritated scalps looking for lasting relief between washes. And I said,
Just a minute. Aisha, thank you. Of all those that are coming here, Aisha is the one who, in a concise manner, is 80% there. So Aisha,
okay.
for that, yes.
Well, kudos to you, Aisha. And then I said I want to run a mobile haircut, driving to people's houses upon appointment, every race, and then demographics is just within Edmonton because I know the barbing shops are usually really packed. It's hard, and people really want to get it done sometimes, but there's no time. Irene said corporate women who are feeling stuck and unfulfilled in their lives. Perhaps there's another message up there, Irene. I'll check it out. And then Sharon said an online stationery and sticker store, parents eager to support their young kids' creativity and adopt better organization. I think that's all for
The
now.
good thing I'm seeing is that people are now framing it. You're framing it, the way I want you to frame, right? So a lot of people have framed it. But again, we need to understand we have the who, we have the what, we have, who will pay for it, will they pay for it? Sorry. Will the people pay for it? And who else is on your lane? So you have that because that is your GPS test because it gives you now a direction. Why does it give you a direction? I'm going towards Black people. I'm going towards women that have itchy hair and everything, right? I'm going towards that, right? And I'm going because that's a problem that they're having. So I've seen the problem there. There's a problem in front of me. I am moving with a solution towards that problem. I know that they can afford to pay for the solution for that. And this brings question of price, and everything. We'll see that towards the end. And, and I can also check, are there other people who are actually, all going to that direction, doing that same thing already that I want to do? Okay. So this is good. Now, somebody here wrote about something that is a bit dear to me. I worked for several years as director of operation for Schlumberger, an oil and gas service company for Central and West Africa. And so I have a very strong background in terms of operations and logistics. So sorry for everybody else, but there's someone here who wrote about it. And yes, there's a need for reliable clearing agents in Canada. Yes, especially with the growing demand. Yes. So your goal is to have one. What I will challenge you is to understand how custom clearing works in Canada, which is very different from the way it works, let's say, at the back end in Africa, right? And the fact that here services are automated to an extremely high level, and most organizations provide end-to-end solution. But there is a market for small businesses, right? And you need to understand who is on the lane. So in Canada, there's a very strong Asian community that really partakes in that, right? Especially Southeast Asian community. So it's a great opportunity. Do the who, the what, will they pay for it, and who else in your lane? And when you gather that information, you can drill down even more.
Yeah.
Okay.
We still have two other
Excellent.
ones before we proceed quickly, and it's quite interesting. Somebody said intimate small events for BIPOC community offering low-cost rental events, perhaps making events memorable on the budget. Another person is saying retirement readiness coaching for income earners of above 70K who are over 45 years old and do not have a clear insight of what their expense and debt will be by retirement. Matisse all races in regards to the first one, and it's for everyone who loves authentic, flavorful Haitian cuisine, who serve individuals. Okay, so this is about restaurants. The reason why I'm reading this loud is the fact that you don't even know, maybe you might get a business partner right in this room and somebody who might need your service. So yeah, let us all be participatory of this event. I love the question and answer. Thank you very much, Franklin. So I'm going back to my corner.
Thank you. So I love the creativity that is in this room, right? I'm excited. It means that we're here, we're innovators. So in this bus that we're taking, all of us, our mind, we're gearing into putting in place solutions that, will solve problems that exist and have a return on investment. Hey, it's okay. It's about the Benjamin sometimes also, right? So thank you so much for great, ideas, initiatives. I'll just encourage you to make sure that you really sit down. I see that, my dear friend, Jaylene, went down and said, okay, Franklin, you called my name, you called me out. So let me make sure that, I show you that I've listened or that I actually prepared it, So thank you so much, Jaylene. Awesome. It's very drilled down in the sector. So I appreciate that, right? So don't forget, will they pay for it? And how much will they pay for it, right? Who else? So what is my competition? Very, very, do not underestimate the competition because this is one thing that you need to know. If I have a restaurant, for example, let's say a Haitian restaurant, and I see Jarlene comes and she starts her own and she's doing something, it's much more easier for me to replicate what Jarlene is doing. I can tweak it quickly. How she still stuck in the expenses, the operational expense and the startup expenses. For me, moving to what she's doing, if I see she's selling something and a lot of people are liking it, I'll replicate it. So in some industry, that replication is very quick, it's very easy. So understanding your competition also forces you to confront the replicability of your idea, right? Can my idea be snatched immediately in a way that I had a great idea, but somebody just implemented it before I did. I just opened and said, this is what I want to do. Somebody just took it next door and just did it, right? So you need to know, because when you know who your competition is, you know where your competition is, it may even help you tweak your location. So that by the time you come back to a certain location, you're not coming as a newbie. You come with an established brand name, people know you, people have been asking you in other regions, in other markets, and that's why you're coming, okay? So these questions, they look simple, but when you're drilling into them, you can see the subsequent question that it generates, and it helps refine, this idea that you have and the direction in which you're taking the idea and the hurdles that you're making sure that you're overcoming. Because a lot of businesses start falling off here. They don't do these regular checks and they start failing. Oh, I didn't think about my competition. I thought it was a great Haitian product and everything. I opened, and now I realized that actually people in this region, they all want the Haitian food, but they don't want to drive to go to the restaurant. All of them wanted just to be ordering it. And there's somebody who is very far and he had been delivering. Or I opened a restaurant, but there's somebody who had just a commercial kitchen because he had done a study and he had realized that, hey, most of the Haitian, yes, but they want to stay in their comfort of their home and have the food, So they like the fact that, so the person just opened just a commercial kitchen and is delivering. So I've opened a restaurant because I thought there was no Haitian restaurant here, but nobody's coming. Then now I check and I found out everybody's saying, like, no, come on, yeah. I get food from the restaurant. It gets delivered to me. Every day I go online, I see what the menu is, I place the order and it's delivered to me. So it's comfortable. My family will just stay here and blah, 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 etc. So very important for you to know who else is on the lane. It might be a physical, it might be a commercial kitchen, it might even be people who are on one of the delivery services, the Ubers and the rest, okay? Good. So we've done that, right? Now we have that, we've tested our GPS, right? So we've looked at all those things that we need to know, so I'm transitioning from that ideation and we've started now, moving slowly ahead in our journey, right? So in any journey, you need to avoid these potholes that's on the street. Very important, right? If you don't avoid these potholes, what happens is you fall into one. So, sorry, let me get my next slide. Sorry, okay, there you go. So, these are the cardinal smallest mistake that people do at the beginning. And I would say 60% of businesses die because of this. So I'm thinking of, I want to do something, I don't know, the mobile haircut. I'm like, oh, man, you know what? Everybody wants this. Yeah, can you think about everybody? I'm going to their home, I'm cutting their hair, no more going somewhere, standing on the line for hours, and etc. I'm sitting there, come my home, they're coming, they're cutting my, so everybody wants this, right? I've never even seen somebody who's doing it. There's no one else. If you say everybody wants to do this, it means that you don't understand your audience. Give you an example. There's some people who want to go to a barber shop. They want the experience. They want to sit in a barber shop. They want to be talking, especially African people. They want to be talking. Most women, they could they sometimes get somebody to come home to do their hair. Sometimes they want to go to the hair salon to have all the chit-chat that goes around it. Someone to just get out of the house. They're like, this is a time where I don't want to see that Franklin, that my husband Franklin, that knucklehead. Let me go to my salon for an hour, I'll be with the other girls and I'll think about something else. I'll get away from this guy, right? So if you say everybody wants this, it means you don't understand your audience. As we said at the back. So I hope you see how we're building the blocks, right? If you had done what I said earlier and you had drilled down, you will know if everybody wants it or not. But if you jump to, oh man, this is great, or you have those yes-sayer friends, everything you say is like, oh, you are so smart. This is a great idea and you lose money. You have that kind of friends. I had one kind of friend that I grew up like that. He would say that and I always lose my 2 cents, my 30 cents, my 20 cents. Then one day I realized even at my very young age that this, my friend, is very expensive. So most of the time I used to say, shut up. Just because whenever he encouraged me, I end up losing money. So sometimes you need to have someone who will push you to do the research. And I hope as we're all in this bus, we understand that we will not just jump and say everyone will do this. We will clearly define our audience. Now, why am I drilling this over and over? I'm drilling because this is the easiest part. This is where you have not spent money. Or if you spend money, it's well spent. And you're not spending a lot of money. Because let's say it's a great idea. You open a shop, you pay a year rent, 6 month rent and everything. Then it doesn't work. You spend a lot of money that you could have prevented way ahead of time, right? So I keep on drilling to make sure, because these are the most common mistakes. So the common pitfalls that businesses, small or big, whatever, they fall into, right? Most people have great ideas, but they don't do the due diligence. So you say everyone wants this, it means that your audience is not defined. You say no one else does this, you haven't researched it enough. Because if you do proper research, you find somebody. The finding that somebody has done it does not mean that you should not do it. It might mean that you have to do it in a more innovative way. It might mean that you might have to change location. It might mean that the problem is still there. It might mean that somebody is doing it, but the problem is still there. Sometimes the market is big enough for 2 or 3 or 4 people, right? It might mean that the way you get into the market will be different. So you need to do that research, right? If you're like, you know what, this is a great idea, you know what, I'll make it very, very cheap. Believe me, as somebody who has failed, I consider myself that I've failed forward a bunch of times. I tell the young ones that I mentor, the Franklin that you've seen today as an entrepreneur, as a community advocate, even as a husband, is not the Franklin of 30 years ago. Absolutely not. I have failed forward. At the beginning, I failed. I didn't know how to fail forward. I failed, I didn't learn from it, and I did the same mistakes. Then I was fortunate of some mentors, some people around who helped me to fail forward. So I fail, I can pause, I can see what did I do wrong, and then I try to improve on it. And hopefully it's making me a better person, a better entrepreneur, a better husband, a better friend, and as I'm moving forward. So if one of the things I know is that the cheapest solution is not always the best solution. Sometimes as a young entrepreneur, we really want our product to be in the market. We think we have the greatest idea. We're like, okay, this guy's selling it for $10, I'll sell it for $5. There's a reason why that person is selling for $10. The person has captured the cost. And actually, the person has captured the actual cost. So you need to understand the market price. If the market is telling you that the price for a haircut is $20, and you check 20 or 30 places, it revolves around $15 to $20. Or, okay, for women, it's different. When my wife goes to do her hair, God saves me. God bless me, you know. So women is different. Actually, even the men. My son cuts his hair for $60. I cut mine for $25. I don't even know where that guy goes. Okay, either way. So when you look at the market price, there's a reason why, on average, that price is more or less the same. The only way your price can be lower is if when you're bringing some kind of innovation and that your idea is actually the innovation. You're bringing something that you're like, I can do this way more cheaper. I have brought in a new technology that is making me be able to put this to the market at a low cost rate and still making my return on investment. Because if for you, you're saying, I'm making it cheaper, but I will do it in terms of the volume. 2 issues, fundamental flaws. One, you are thinking that the market will take it because you made it cheaper. That's a big mistake. Actually, sometimes I see some things that are cheaper, I don't buy it. Because I'm like, why is it this cheap? I'm like, something might be wrong with it. Right? I might be wrong, but sometimes I don't. I'm like, I'm not getting it. I can afford to get that one. So that one surely is a bit expensive because the quality, and I want to have quality. So one is that. And 2, you are thinking that you control market dynamics and what is coming ahead. You don't know what is coming ahead. You might have a reasonable expectation or idea, but what if the market shifts, dramatically? You are stuck with huge inventory and a price point that people will not allow you to go above. Because if you come to the market and you are selling that haircut 15, somebody comes next day, you move to 30, the person is going to the guy who's doing a 30, but he's leaving you. It's like what? Why did he increase it? You lose a client, right? So refrain from just saying it's the cheapest. I say again, you can do the cheapest if your technology, if, I don't know, something that you have is so unique that your cost of operation is minimal. Then, okay, you can go for the cheapest, right? And I said again, You can name 10 people who are able to buy that product or service today. If you can sit and you name them, okay. You think it's easy, but I'm telling you, for everybody here, 95% of you here, will not get it. 5% might have, but 95% will not be able to say, I know this and this and this and this. You struggle in your mind to find the people. And what that should tell you is the fact that you have not done the research. You know what I mean? You have not done the research to understand the market and all what we discussed before. Yeah. So before you make your move, avoid all these beginners' mistakes, right? Now, I don't want you to panic if you've made these assumptions. If you made the ones that are written here, if you thought everybody wants this, nobody has all this, I'll have the cheapest solution, right? We all have made it. I've made it before. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from lived experience, right? But recognizing that and having a way forward, recognizing this blind spot that sometimes we miss is how we grow. So now we know. Now we might have been thinking in the back of our mind, we might be saying it. So now we know. We know, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm thinking that everybody will want this, but let me test it. Let me see if really everybody wants it. Well, there's a small group to see if everybody will want it, right? So is there anyone here that has, let's say, like an IT solution, an idea about a software solution among the participants here? Anybody? I've seen a lot of hairdressing, restaurant, cut. So I want to know, is there anybody here with the idea of a software solution?
Let's know in the chat room.
Yes, please put in the chat room, please. Nobody.
Oh, no, nobody yet.
Okay. Well, in all fairness, we're few that get into that space. Okay. Thank you, Didi. So do you have an idea of what you want to do? Like, do you have an idea you want to open a cybersecurity firm or offer cybersecurity services? Just out of curiosity. So, okay, I don't know, Didi. Okay, so what I wanted to try to share is this. There are ways that you can test the market. So let's say Didi decides that he wants to open a company that will provide cybersecurity. Okay, yes, with logistics solution, for example. Okay. So what he will do is that, he will create his website, and the website will have all the solutions and everything and etc. The quickest way for me to test his solution is what? If my tool is SS software, I can go and create a prototype, just like a user interface prototype. Cost me $200-300. And with that prototype, I can share it now to a number of people, potential clients. It's just a prototype. They'll click, and it tells them, if you click here, this is a solution. If you do this, this is what you implement in your system. So they'll click. They will see it, and it'll give them a feel of what the reality will be like. And they'll immediately give me feedback. Some of them might say, yeah, I've looked at it, but no, I don't need it. Some are like, oh, wow, I really like that. Do you think you're even able to tweak and add A, B, C? You need to test the market. Let's say I have my Haitian food. I know that there is a farm market that is happening tomorrow. I have my samples. I go to my samples. I sit in my samples, and people test them. I can see from their face. Some people will test, yeah, thank you, and they go. Some people are like, oh, wow, this is really nice. What is this and everything? So I get immediate feedback before I go and open an actual restaurant. This is what I'm trying to say. You can always test your market. You always have ways that you can test your market. In the church that I go to, I have a sister that does this juice, ginger juice and hibiscus juice, right? The hibiscus juice, right? So it is very popular in the church. there was a workshop that I was delivering, and so she went to that workshop to deliver. Now, in that workshop, 98% of the people in there were Asians, right? 98%. And the rest were Caucasians. So there was Starbucks for the break. They had these big jugs of Starbucks and everything, Starbucks and all type of coffees and etc. Then she had her juice by the side. Within 15 minutes, her juice was finished. Within 15 minutes. And why was it finished? Everybody was asking, where is this from? So immediately you see, she could see that she had something in the hand. So you can always test and have a feel about the idea. Okay? Excellent. So now that we've understood a lot of these basic components and everything and etc., let's move into building. So now we can roll, because we're like a diesel engine. We start slow, but now the pace is getting fast, right? The first thing I want to tell you is that, you know what? Don't overcomplicate your idea. I want to build a restaurant. Please don't be thinking I need to be a 5-star restaurant. If you have the money, you have the experience and everything, think about it. But sometimes you can make something simple and beautiful with ingenuity, right? So you don't need at the beginning to build a Mercedes, right? For this our trip, we'll get a robust car that gets us moving, okay? So what you need is a lean, a focused business model that can take you forward, right? A lot of businesses, believe me, a huge amount of businesses, they stall because they focus on branding, not on the engine, right? They are really, really focused on branding. But that's a mistake. You need to focus on the engine first. So if you want to open a restaurant, you cannot spend 3/4 of the time thinking about how beautiful the hall will be and I'm not saying it's not important, it's very important. But if the meal is not extraordinary, sorry, no matter how beautiful the place is, the client will come the first time, will disappear. So we need to first think about the engine. Are we all together? So what is the model that we want to use as we're moving forward? So there are 3 important components that I want you to take here. So these 3 elements will help move our vehicle forward. Everything else, the partners, the cost, the operations, we can do it a bit later. As part of the resource that you get either today or later on will be a simple business canvas, right? A business canvas allows you to kind of structure your idea put them into place, into visualization that you can see how it's moving forward, right? So, but out of that business canvas, I want you to start with these 3 components, the value proposition. What promise do you make? Because you say, oh, I am promising you the most extraordinary high-end food that you ever taste. I am promising you to eliminate all the hackers that will try to hack into your system. I am promising you, to make sure that, all your equipment, cargo that is coming, is by your door within 24 hours. I would have handled all the freight forwarding documentation. I am promising. So what am I promising? That's the first thing. The second thing is, who are your passengers, right? Who are those people that you've made the promise to? So we have this, our car. We're telling people, hey, we're giving you the best possible ride in absolute luxury, the best amapiano music and gospel music. So we're catching for both segments of, actually one doesn't even exclude the other. The best amapiano and gospel music, and taking you, to Paris in our beautiful bus. So who are our passengers? So I'm looking at, people who are earning at least $70,000. They're very elegant. So who are those passengers that are coming, right? And then how will they pay me? Right? So the revenue stream, right? How will they pay me? Because I need the money for that car to be moving, right? Very, very important. These are the core components that I need you to master very quickly. So that one, you don't say a lie, you don't overpromise, and you lose business. This brings me to a small component I want you to get. Integrity in your business should be one of the key foundations. If you lie to your customer, you lose, not one. A very happy customer speaks to 2 or 3 only. An unhappy customer, wherever the customer is, when the customer wants to banter, we just say, oh, you remember that guy, Franklin, and his shop? Man, that guy is just a crook. So like nobody even triggered it because he's trying to say something interesting, right? So integrity is very important. So the value proposition is what the promises that we're making and that we can back it up. We know who we're targeting and we know how they'll pay for it. So we have the share example, right? Our natural share example, right? We help Black women feel confident using organic share wellness. Okay, that's a value proposition. We are targeting young moms, natural beauty lovers, and eco-conscious Gen Z. Okay, and how will they pay us? Of course, they'll pay us through, we'll be on Shopify, we'll have this pop-up in the marketplace, or we'll have online subscription kits that they can order, right? So the revenue streams, how the revenue streams comes is very, very important because you need to make it as accessible as possible for your clients. This, for me, is a key part that you need to hold first. Then the rest, who I want to partner with, what are the costs of my product, how am I running the operations, they can come a bit later. If you master this one, if you know your value proposition, if you have a good understanding of your market segment, there's the people that will buy this, the people that the problem is sitting with them and they are willing to buy this, and you are solving their issue, and you know exactly the venues in which you'll be able to allow these people to access that service or that product and pay for it. If you have this lockdown, it becomes easy for the rest. So let me give you an example. Because I understand my market, I understand who they are. So I said over there, eco-conscious Gen Z. So later on, I can work my pricing understanding that the market I'm targeting is not the rich people. These are eco-conscious Gen Z. So what is your price point? So I do not start with saying that my product will cost $50 without understanding my market, my target segment. I hope we understand that. That's why for me, I say these 3, what is my value proposition? What is it that I'm promising people? What is that problem that I'm solving? And that I'm telling people I can solve it in a way that you could never even imagine. It might be high-end food, it might be clear forwarding, it might be freight forwarding, it might be a barber, whatever thing it is. What is it that I'm promising them for that problem that they have? Okay. What is my customer segment? Again, my passengers. Because when I identify them, when I know them, I can price them. So the price point for me comes a bit later. So for me, it's to understand and how are these people interacting in terms of accessing this equipment and paying for it. Then I can now start working on my operation. Because I have that one, the rest is easy, believe me. Working on the partners who I want to get along, because when I know my market, when I know the segment, I think, I think I might need Franklin to come and help me with this. So I know my partners, the cost, and my operation. Okay? Very important. So we've done that, right? So now we can do a quick, it will not be 12 minutes, we'll cut it short. I would like us to go into some breakout rooms for 5-6 minutes. Is that okay, Susan?
Yes, absolutely. We're okay.
Okay. So let's do a breakout room. In a breakout room, what I want you to do, is that you choose one idea among yourself, and I want you to complete what is below. So you can take a picture of this right now. I don't know if we can make a broadcast for this in every room, but what I want you to do is, one, give me the value proposition. That VP is the verb. We help who to achieve what and how. By how. Give me 3 audience type, and then, you tell me 2 ways that people will pay. All right, let's do 5 to 7 minutes for this. Everybody's back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was hearing some interesting business ideas over there. I'm like, wow. Who wants to partner?
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are we going to allow them to talk and then for them
Yes,
to present? Okay.
just have it's 20 seconds. So the goal here is not too much, it's just 20 seconds
Okay.
where you will quickly share, you know,
So I'm just gonna give everyone the access to talk.
yeah.
And if you can talk already, you can start. Just try it out.
Hello?
Okay, awesome. So we can hear you. We can hear you. Please go ahead. Who is presenting for group one?
Were we group one? Yeah, I think we were. Well, we had a few ideas, and one of us wanted to have intimate event, and what? So the who for that was people. I don't know. The someone that doesn't want to have a bigger party, that just want to celebrate with their family, uh, uh, in a in an intimate place. That can be in their own home or they rent a place. The list of audience types, we didn't get to that because we were still discussing everything else.
So you can see, actually, let me let somebody else speak now. I want to share. Another group share.
Hi.
Yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
All right. Hi, my name's Sharon. So the idea that our group was thinking of was a little stationery store, where stickers, stationery, and like some art prints would be sold. But basically, the idea is kind of double dipping with young adults who are new parents. They can kind of bring their kids into like organizing with because their kids will be intrigued by stickers and whatnot. And then the idea would be this is an online store, but I would sell at local like artisan markets in Calgary, hopefully expanding into Alberta and then Canada wide. Uh, and the slogan that I'm still working on, it would be like keep them engaged, keep them busy. Maybe something a little bit friendlier, I don't know. But yeah, it would just be like young teens, new parents, and even though they're not buying yet, it would be young kids who would be really engaged with the products as well.
Okay. Another group?
Hi everyone, this is Stacy, or group. The idea that we had was a Haitian cuisine restaurant, and it would be located downtown Edmonton because currently there's only one Haitian restaurant downtown Edmonton, and the location is close to about 4 different universities. So the value proposition would be we help students and professionals access affordable, healthy, and delicious meals with flexible dine-in, take-out, and delivery options. And then the audience we were looking at, we had a specific niche, however, wanted to include everyone as well. So the specific niche based on the location would be students looking for budget-friendly and quick meals. The second one is working professionals needing convenient lunches and dinners. Fourth would be families wanting affordable meal options. And then fourth, they would be general food lovers in the community. So we started out with specific niches, but then we did not necessarily want to exclude anyone. So those are the 4 segments that we would target. And then revenue options, dine in or take out. And of course, it would be directly by cash or card at the specific location. 2, people be able to order online and pay by credit card and pick up at the location. And then just to add a little creativity with it, meal bundle options. For example, the students or professionals, that would be regular customers. They could do a meal bundle for the month, and we could do a loyalty program in terms of
Stacy,
getting points.
excellent. I want to hear the last group. Excellent, Stacy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well done. Was there any other group? Okay. So let me provide. So I think the high cuisine is the one that was the most structured, and I understand some people have enough time. So let me just make a quick comment on one of it. Thank you, Stacy, on your group, because you followed the prompting, and for me that's very good, and I think everybody here will agree on that. Now, Stacy, why do you have a specific audience? You have a specific audience. The niche audience is important. Yes, it's open to everyone, but your focus stay on the niche for a couple of reasons. One, you will, because it's a niche, you will make sure that you really understand them, what their problem is in terms of the type of meals they want, how they want it, and how they want to pay for it, right? So that's one thing, which means that you can really capture that market because you have an intimate knowledge, and you can grow your business because your actions are very relevant in meeting the needs of that specific niche. Of course, you can leave it open. But another benefit of focusing on your niche is the fact that the resources that you have in terms of marketing and the rest is not dispersed. So let me give you an example. When you want to serve everyone, you will split your budget, right? But the niche that you might have might be big enough for you to really have a substantial return on investment if you really focus on them, even in terms of marketing to cover all that specific niche market. Okay. But if you find yourself spreading out, in terms of the resources that you are leveraging to capture the market, you will divert some of the resources that would have actually helped you quickly capture your specific niche market and make more money on that market than elsewhere. So what I would encourage, for example, in this idea would be, though, of course, if somebody that's not our niche comes to buy the food, is great. We'll sell it and everything. But our priority, 80% of our priority will be on our niche market, which will be the students, because we are centrally located. We know that in those universities that like ethnic food, or they have a high population of people that like ethnic food. We will target also the instructors and the professors. We will do delivery for the professors because we understand they're very busy and they want to have their food in their office. That is in terms of how the people will pay and how you reach them. You see, do you get what I'm saying? So we might not necessarily say all food lovers. We know all food lovers can come. We're not saying that somebody should not come in our restaurant, but that'll be our focus. So that's where we put our marketing money. That's where we'll drive, the incentives and everything, because it is our niche market and we know it's big enough to meet our financial goals, right? The growth that we want to have. So thank you very much. But I wanted you to have this exercise so that you start seeing that when you're drilling it this way, your ideas is taking shape and form, right? Your ideas is coming up already, is gearing up towards something. Now, you need money, right? It's gearing up, but you need to fuel the car. So this is where we're saying, where and how can we make sure that, we can refuel for growth? And yes, a lot of resources for Black entrepreneurs in Canada exist, right? 60% of people, they get lost because they haven't done that due diligence work. You have another 20, 25, 30%, they get stuck here, right? Or they just stop because, you just need the right kind of gas, for your vehicle to move forward. A lot of time people have an idea, they don't do the due diligence, they jump the start, they burn all their personal money, they burn all the small funding they have, and they get phased out. Sometimes people do the due diligence and now they need funding to move forward, right? And this is a place where we're saying, if you've done your work, so you understand your market, the problem you're solving, you've tested it, and all what we discussed for the last close to an hour, if you've done all that, and you need just this support in terms of accessing money, there are different mechanisms for that. And I want us to explore it within the next 5-10 minutes, right? So for us, we started with $2,000, right? Natural share, all of us here. We went and each of us got some small money from our pocket, from family and everything. But we did something else. We also said, okay, we believe in this idea. All that information that we received helped us to write a very good business plan. So we went to Face and apply for a small micro, not even grant, Face give loans. Apply for a small loan, right? We also went to BDC. The point I want to make you understand is that there is funding for small businesses. In the Black community, a lot of small businesses are informal. And that's a significant problem. If you are informal, I see a lot of sisters that do, for example, catering, sitting in their house, and they don't want to formalize. They say, oh, if I formalize, I'll be paying taxes and the rest. And that is because there's a clear lack of understanding about, business actually, how business operates and how business grow, right? You never grow to be a big business if you don't. Okay, let me take it back. When you formalize, it unlocks all the tools, all the money, and everything else that exists in the economic ecosystem, to support businesses. You're going to get that if you formalize, because nearly everyone, you want to get a loan, they'll say, we want to see, the first thing they'll ask you is certificate of incorporation. You want to get a grant, certificate of incorporation. You want to show to the tax man that, hey, you know what, I pay the rent, I pay the commercial kitchen, I pay the equipment, so all that needs to come out of my tax. You need to be formalized. No matter what you want to do, you need to. Yes, you can still be informal and do in the dark, and you do in your house, and you're making some small money, but you will never grow. You will stay a small business, and you will miss a huge opportunity. So anybody here, your idea needs to be formalized in terms of you. If you've done all the research, you've done everything we've done, you know that, okay, now, yes, I'm ready, I'm moving forward, formalize the business, right? Formalize means that incorporate your business. It can be a sole proprietorship, it can be a limited liability company, it can be an S-corp, whatever thing you want. Now, there's a lot of funding that exists in the ecosystem. My understanding also is that Susan, my dear Susan here, will also share a bit more of that. But for the context of my slide, I want you to know that you have government funding, you have public-private funding that exists to support small businesses. Some of them come in the form of loans, some of them come in the form of grants, right? And some of them come in the form of people supporting you, because when people support you, there's a cost to that. Organizations like Phase, like Black Buildup also provide mentorship where you are being accompanied in your journey as an entrepreneur. This whole workshop is one of it, where the intention is to help you move from your idea to your implementation, right? And you can also do even kickstarting. If you have a great tool, a great product, you can actually go on this crowdfunding website and say, this is a product, I'm getting ready to go to the market in a month. If you help me make that happen, you have early access to the product, or you get the first batch that comes out, and etc. So there are several different ways that you can access funding. Okay, you do have them, and we'll share resources around that. So that's very important. And I want to say, start where you are, right? Be creative. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Money always follows momentum. Believe me, if you've done the research, you have the stats, you know your market, you understand it. If you go to a friend, he's more likely to give you the money than you saying, oh, I have this great product, everybody wants it. It's like, how do you know everybody wants it? But when the person sees that you've been consistent in doing all what we spoke for the last 1 hour, they're more likely. And this is valid for a bank. This is valid for you getting a grant and everything else, right? And that passion that you have needs to be visible, okay? So we've done that, okay? For the money, I didn't spend too much time. I just wanted you to understand that there are fundings. And again, Susan, I think you will share either now or everybody who is here will receive links to all the resources and everything, I believe.
Yeah. So please hang in there. We're almost done.
We're almost there.
When it's done, we'll be talking about funding opportunity available for you.
Okay, so the sweet part is coming. So please hang in there. The sweet part is coming. The money part, right? So we've done all that, and we've you know, we're looking for the money and everything and etc. This is what we decided to do at Natural Share. The first thing we did is we registered our name, Natural Share, like share butter, right? Registered our names. We did a design for our essential oils. We did a design for the labels, you know, and we created the testers. Okay, so we created our testers that we know. We spent a whole week, all of us here. We sat down. We said, okay, Natural Share. That's the name we agreed. People have all kinds of names, but we agreed Natural Share is beautiful. It brings natural, you know, some kind of organic. It brings share butter. So we decided Natural Share. That's what we all agreed. So we say, okay, let's register our name so that somebody will not come and steal it. And it's easy to register the name. So we registered our name, we incorporated ourselves and everything. We said, okay, we need to think about our sample bottles, right? We want to make it to be attractive because about packaging also. So we drew the label. We said we want some, it's a form of a leaf, right? And blah, blah, blah. So we created our samples. Then the second week, right, we made sure that we distributed them. Some of us attended some markets, open market. Some of us negotiated with some shops around for our target. We know where our target population usually shop for their products, right? Perhaps a network of African stores or Asian stores or whatever. So we distributed some samples that could be tested in those stores, okay? And we had some review forms so that people could come, could test, or a barcode on it. People could test, they get the testers for free, and they have a barcode on it, right? So based on the review that came to us after a week, we kind of tweak the formula. People say, yeah, we love it, but it's a bit too oily. So when we're using it's a bit too oily on our skin and everything. Or people said, you know what? Yeah, but the quantity, either way, we looked at the feedback. We went back and we worked the packaging, we worked the formula, the way we're doing it and everything. And then we prepared for a soft launch, okay? And then the fourth week, we launched. We were our online store, we launched it, right? And then we did our first book fest, whatever event, where we're talking about our product and everything, etc. Now, this is just a figurative example I'm giving, right? 4 weeks, one customer, one real transaction, that's the momentum. The idea for me is to tell you this. We've spoken about it. You've done all the due diligence, everything, you know, where you can get some money and etc. You need to be intentional now in working on it. What happens is a lot of people, they get that. Then they let things of life step in. So I had this idea. I won't tell the number of times I've said to somebody, 2 years ago, I had this idea. It was a great idea, but I hear it over and over. Why didn't you act on it? 2 years ago, the market was ready for that idea. 2 years ago, you know, you did your research and you saw that the market was ready for it. But you got caught up with other things. Isn't it funny? We will make sure that we have time to watch, to finish all the series that we had in Netflix. But we cannot spend that amount of time. We can binge watch for 6 hours, but we cannot say 6 hours to do proper research on a product that will shape our future and build generational wealth. So that's the idea of saying a 30 days implementation sprint, because it forces you to be intentional in the things that you have to do for it to come to fruition. You have the idea, you understand your market segment, you understand, you have your value proposition, you understand your market segment, you understand, how the people will acquire and actually even pay for it. You know where you're going to go look for additional money from family to face and the rest. And it cannot die at that point. Now you move to acting upon it to say, okay, now I'm ready. Week one for you might be, I register it, I find the proper spot, right? Usually I like to say you need to test it before you open the store. So you start at home, whatever product and services, before you test. You need to test that solution so that the market responds to what your research has shown. Okay, when the market responds the way the research has shown, to something, and you start seeing traction. Right now, for the last 2 months, I've been working with a company that does actually a beauty product. So they were very intentionally trying to grab me to come into the company. Then I was surprised to find out actually they've been having they sell about $200 to $500 of their product from the bedroom. Right? I was fairly surprised by that. I was like, okay, you know what? They're into something, these people. So they started, and I thought that was really great that they started that way, which means that what they needed me for is how do we scale it? How do we make sure that we can scale this thing to make it bigger? So I'm not doing a sprint with them. You cannot be mixing that product by yourself. We'll find a formula where this is done at a manufacturing scale. We can do a bit of packaging because a lot of feedback has come. So we're doing a sprint where we know that within the next 60 days, every 2 weeks, this is what we've done. It keeps us on track, it keeps us committed, and it keeps us moving forward. So that's the idea of the sprint. Okay. So we've done that, and the sector, we've committed. You choose your first turn, validate it, right? Action beats intention. Commit in public, it works. I can tell you that. Okay. So survey 10 buyers this week for it. Finalize your value and your segment. Okay. If you're having whatever be your idea, do a pre-sale, test the market, have a booth in pop-up markets, see what the public is saying about it. Okay. So who are you? Can you type on the chat? Are you a validator? Will you validate 10 people the idea that you have? I want to know. Are you in the phase that you feel like, you know what, I need to work on my value proposition and the segment? Okay. Or you think that you're already where you need to test in the market, you need to have like a booth, or you need to have that sample product elsewhere. So anybody, if you're in that stage, write it. If everybody here is at the beginning, the first stage, still awesome. You know what you have to do. Okay. Excellent. So I think that Susan, I have reached to the end here. I normally want to give some few questions to people if they have, we've been doing it, right? So going forward, please, everyone, this is what I'm recommending. This is what we've discussed as a recaps. Validate your idea. Please validate it. We saw the who, the what, the when, and all or not. Build your engine. We saw the components that builds your engine, the value proposition, all the way to the stream, the revenue stream, right? Build your engine, right? Locate all the fuel options that you have, okay? Above all, commit to action. Keep moving forward. What I would like to do is that in 30 days, Susan, I would like you to send an email to everybody that was here, okay, so that we kind of having feedback of their journey. A lot of them are here with ideas. I want to know in 30 days where they are, and if they were having challenges, where they were. Okay. Phase and Black Buildup, will always be around. Black Buildup, by the way, is a small fish. Phase has $200 million. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Franklin. Wow, there's a lot. My cup is filled. But I have 3 points. I have 3 takeaway from this, and it's just keep coming back to me. One of it is, are we ready? Are we really solving what the market needs? And that really touched me, because most of the time we have ideas, but then we're not thinking about the aspect of what the market needs. It's about the passion that we have for the idea. What if the idea you have is not what the market is ready for right now? I mean, that doesn't mean you should scratch your idea or put it somewhere, but maybe the market is not ready for it. And then the second aspect for me is competing on price is a fast lane to burnout. That is so important. As an amateur and entrepreneur in your entrepreneurial journey, sometimes you just want to start making sales and you're not even thinking about the financial aspect. And before you know it, you see yourself reducing your price, thinking that is, the way for you to go about it. But this is really an eye opener in terms of pricing. And the last point for me that I'm taking home is the testing phase of a business. I believe that is so important, based on what you just spoke about. Sometimes we think testing phase is only for IT, but at the same time, I believe from this presentation of yours that every business should test if this is something they want to do right now or not, whether through buying, through purchasing a vendor booth, or even just, if it is food, maybe having people try it to really know if people are ready for that amazing idea. Thank you so much, Franklin. We enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and we really appreciate it. So quickly, we're going to be talking about funding. And I only have 4 slides. Trust me, I'll make sure that I go by time. So I'll quickly share my screen so that you know what is available for you out there. So let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we're going to be talking about FACE. So FACE stands for Federation of African Canadian Economics, and we are a national organization. So I am based here in Edmonton. I'm an outreach officer for Western Canada, but we have outreach officers like myself for every region, and we're a Black-led non-for-profit organization. We're focused mainly on providing resources and information to Black community across Canada, and we manage the 160 million portion of the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund. We give out loans from $10,000 to $250,000. And like what you see us doing here with Black Buildup is one thing that we enjoy doing, collaborating with organizations to provide educational resources and opportunities that will help, Black entrepreneurs thrive in Canada. Okay. Oops, sorry, guys. Hmm. Okay, sorry guys, my screen is kind of misbehaving, but yeah, we can. Okay, let me just. My
Just
screen,
connect
my
on
screen is slow, so you know what? I'll just stop sharing because we don't have much time, and then just speak about what we do. So we give out loans up to $250,000, and we have 2 categories. We have startups and we have existing businesses. So startup for us means that you've been doing your business for at least 3 months. You can get up to $50,000 in loan. And as an existing business, that means you've been doing your business for more than 18 months and you can get $250,000. So now, as a startup, like what Franklin said, it's really, really important for you to register your business, for you to be formalized. It's very, very important. That's the aspect of loan readiness. Nobody's going to give you loan or grant or whatsoever support without formalization. So that's really important. And the duration for a loan repayment is 60 months. So you can repay within five years. And then all you have to do if you want a loan, if you want to apply for this loan program, you go on www.facecoalition.com. But don't worry, I'm going to be sending that link in the chat right now, and then you can apply. But one thing I'm also really excited about, maybe some of you are asking, well, I want grants. I'm not ready for a loan right now. It's okay. So now on our platform, www.facecoalition.com, in partnership with Interact, we have a very important platform for Black entrepreneurs that collates every loan that is in Canada in real time. So instead of you going from website to website to check for grants, all you have to do is sign up. So if you're signing up, you have to put your information and then you have access to the platform. And on that platform, you get to see every grant that are available for you. Like I said, the link is going to be in the chat. So when you go there, you see different grants. And one thing that is interesting about this is there's even a grading. So there's red, there's green, and there's yellow, which kind of tells you how competitive these grants are, just for you to, know about it and to prepare yourself. That's the first aspect. Now, the second interesting aspect about this platform is the fact that we have a business listing. So for a lot of entrepreneurs to have your business visible out there in terms of being listed on business platform, most times they tell you to pay a specific amount on a monthly basis. But for us, it's free. And guess what? We have over 8,000 businesses on that platform. So you want to sign up. It's free of charge. You just need to put your information there. And please make sure you sign up on that platform today. So that's that about resources for us at Phase. And aside that, you can book a meeting with us. There's a spot there on the platform for you to be able to book a meeting. If you need any clarification based on what we just discussed today, we also connect you with our network with organizations like Black Buildup and other organizations that will be able to provide support for you. So just book a meeting with us. Let's discuss the portion of the entrepreneurial journey you're in right now, the stage and the support that you might need within the community. So that's it for now. I look forward to every single one of you in this room starting your business, putting that idea into motion, and let's stay connected. We're going to be sending the link, the information, the YouTube link for this presentation to every single one of you guys. And one more thing, please, I just dropped in the survey link in the chat room. Please make sure that you fill that up. We want to hear from you in regards to this topic that we just discussed. Is there anything that you need us to do better? Is there any other topic that you want us to further discuss in the future? We would love to hear from you, and stay connected with us on socials. We're always having events like this. Follow Black Builder, follow Face. It's important to be within the ecosystem. And finally, we have a Facebook group. And it's pretty much doing well. This Facebook group is also for awareness, to make you understand and to know about events that are happening around you. Because when it comes to this entrepreneurial journey, it's important to be seen out there. It's important to stay connected with the community. And that's why we hope in this Facebook group. So all you have to do is also go on the website. The link for you to join the Facebook group is there. I'm trying as much as possible to make sure that we're not taking in much time, but I want to say thank you once again to Franklin. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And to the faces of Face behind, I see you, team. Thank you so much for making this happening. Thank every single one of you for joining us. You could have been somewhere else this afternoon enjoying yourself, but you decided to be here, and we appreciate you being here. So please let us know what you think about this event through the survey, and let's stay connected. Book that appointment with us. We're here to discuss your idea and to push you into the next phase. So have a wonderful Saturday. I don't know, frankly, if you have anything else to say, and does anyone want to say anything?
Great. No, it was great. It was great, and I was very honored to be here, to be part of this journey that you are taking. Please, you all heard, like me, Face has $160 million. So let's stick with Face. Let's follow Face. Let's join the Facebook link. Let's make sure that, and Face comes with a lot of resources, right? So let's make sure that when it comes to resources that we need, we can reach out to Face. Hey, I'm around, so I'm always pleased to be able to provide.
And I'm frankly sorry, before we leave, I'm just going to check Slido. I'm so sorry, guys. I almost forgot about that, to see if we have any
I think most of the
question.
questions on Slido, we did answer to a lot of them. I looked at the questions.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yes, I think most of the questions, I think we answered those questions.
Oh, yeah. And somebody was talking about Face and Black Buildup have free pop-up events. Look, all of our events for Face are free because we're an NGO. So anytime we're having...
Same as Black Buildup.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to be sure that I'm careful, you see? So we have a lot coming up and a lot moving in. So all you have to do is stay connected on all socials. We're going to be posting about, there's always something, I can tell you, every month in every single region. So please stay connected and feel free to reach out and check the Facebook group as well to know other happenings within your city. So thank you. Thank you. Franklin, you were saying something.
I was just saying that I felt I was incredibly honored, to be part of your journey. And yes, please reach out if there's anything that we can do. I mentioned to you, Face has all the money, Black Buildup doesn't have it. So direct yourself first to Face.
Oh my God.
On a serious note, we are all in this together. the goal is to be able to bring up a very vibrant, Black ecosystem where you can thrive, you can build generational wealth, and you can be part of, the beautiful opportunities that Canada offers to everyone. So thank you once more. And I'm sure we'll be meeting in a lot of other events, so I look forward to it. By the way, in 30 days, we'll check on all of you guys to
Yes.
see, how far you've gone in your journey from
In
ideation
30 days.
implementation. Yes, in 30 days.
Amazing. Thank you, Franklin. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody. Let's stay connected. Make sure that people that you were in the same chat room with, stay connected with them. Who knows? Maybe your business partner is right in this room, right? But yes, don't forget that you have 30 days to bring that idea into implementation. And we wish you all the best. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.